Good morning again. Welcome to continuing coverage of the GAC Football Virtual Media Day. As we are now at 11 o'clock, we welcome in from Southern Arkansas first-year head coach Brad Smiley, as well as his two student athletes, Jariq Scales and Garrett Roberts. Coach, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Again, as we've done with the past couple of folks, we'll have an opening comment from you to start, and then we'll have questions to follow.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Perfect.
Sound great.
Well, good. I appreciate it. Good morning to everybody. And I just, again, I want to echo what Coach Knight said, the same thing. I think this is great. Maybe my first year here as head football coach, but I've previously been a head coach for 11 seasons. So to me, Media Day kind of signifies it's time. It's here. It's ready to go. It's ready to start. And I appreciate the GAC doing this. I was asking throughout the summer, hey, is there anything I need to prepare for? Any media days? Said, no, we hadn't done it for the last few years, but I think this is great. This is a, great opportunity for us to look eye to eye, at least throughout the Zoom, but meet a lot of people, see a lot of faces. I've heard a lot of these names. I've heard, Eric's name and Audra's name and Will's. I mean, now I know what y'all look like. So this is great. But, I'm ready to go. I think these young men, when I came to this program last December, when I took the job, when I came up with my wife, Jan, and I on the interview, just realized what a special place this place is in Magnolia. I'd been to Magnolia one time as a recruit running back. Did not get the running back, but he plays for us now. We'll get to that later. But still, coming to this university, the people around this university, Coach Browning, our athletic director, Dr. Trey Berry, our president. I mean, everyone throughout the administration, these people are phenomenal. And this is a great place to be. Everyone within the athletics department, it's just, you just see so much, how this place could be so special. And after spending time here and being here. So I look forward to a long career here in Magnolia at Southern Arkansas University. I think it's great. But what's made it really special to me, honestly, was getting to know these guys, getting to know these young men in this football team, in this football program. And there's some great kids, special kids in this program. The buy-in has been phenomenal. From the day I walked on campus, got introduced, I interviewed on the first, they offered me the job on the third, announced it. On the fifth, I had a team meeting and got a chance to meet these guys and shake their hands in person and look them in the eye. And the buy-in has been there from the get-go. And they're excited. They've worked extremely hard. We got a lot of new faces, of course. We got new coaching staff. We got, new faces, transfers, guys that have come in the program. But again, their work ethic has been incredible. We spent all of February, half of March, early mornings in the cold weather deciding who really wanted to play college football. It's not cut out for everybody. So again, I think there was a lot of addition by subtraction throughout that process. And I think what we have left are two, great people, great kids, great students. We had 41 guys at a 3.0 or better, and we only had 60-something guys in spring ball. 41 of them were in the 3.0 club. It's pretty awesome. And no two greater than these right here that are on. I mean, Garrett Roberts, leader on the defensive side of the football, defensive end, super senior. He's already graduated. He has his degree. He's just excited. He wants to come back and finish his career. And he's a dude. Jariq Scales, same thing. He's a dude. These guys take care of business. Scales, I know he might just be a sophomore on the field, but both of these guys, they're high GPA. Their work ethic is incredible. They lead by example. They also have no problem saying what they need to say. Garrett, he'll jump on the team group me and he'll say what he needs to say. He'll remind everybody to do things. It's like having a coach on the field on that side of the ball. His teammates respect him for all of that. Jariq might be a little quieter. He's not he's not a big talker, but nobody outworks these guys. They show up every day ready to roll. Everything that they do is 100 miles an hour. And, I'm just excited and I'm blessed to be in this opportunity. I'm blessed to be around young men like these two.
Coach, I know you bring a wealth of experience to the table. That's not an old joke, but it's just a statement, not only the coaching and on so many different levels. But talk about what you then bring to Magnolia. You were talking about the fact that the people there appreciate their football. You have some fantastic athletes. Southern Arkansas is always going to bring a solid number of strong, quality athletes to the table. But what are the folks going to see then from your team this year? What do you expect them to see, or what do you expect them to take away from the first couple of games?
Well, I mean, obviously, when you talk about my background, what I bring here, I'm originally from Louisiana. I'm a North Louisiana guy. I spent 11 years as head coach in East Texas, so getting to know Arkansas and Southern Arkansas has been fun. It's been great, but I mean, it's a true Arklatex setup. I mean, you look at our roster, that's who we are, and I think with that brings a lot of connections with the university and a lot of exposure to other areas, into Shreveport, Bossier, the Monroes, the East Texases, where Southern Arkansas, I think the brand and the name's really, really going to grow. On the football field, number one, we're going to be the most physical team. I mean, I know it's at this point in time of year, you hear a lot of that, but Coach Kirkland alluded to it as well. I've won a lot of championships, been a part of a lot of championships, and the most physical team's going to win. When it all comes down to it, it is the greatest game in the world, because you get to put your hands on another man and take him somewhere he does not want to go. And that's what makes this game so great. That's what makes it special. And that is the game that we will play. Now, if you look at us offensively, you're going to say, well, they're up tempo, they're spread them and shred them, they're go, go, go. But there's a way to do that and still be extremely physical. I think you will see that offensively. We will be fast. We'll be rolling. We'll have a lot of fun. To me, it's about, to me, you can't hit home runs, get a chance to hit more home runs, the more at-bats you get. So the more snaps we get, the more opportunities we have to pop the big one. Obviously, we got an exciting running back in Scales coming back, conference newcomer of the year, one of the leaders in the league, one of the leaders in the nation, rushing. We got a few other guys in that backfield, though. Caden Roach from Louisiana Monroe, who's played the last 2 years there, but transferred back home to Magnolia. He's the guy that I came to Magnolia to recruit. But he's back. Blake May played in some limited action last year. I think we've got 3 guys there at the running back position that could be as good as there is in the league. And the guys in front of them, we returned 6 offensive linemen that started games last year. We returned 5 of those 6 started 7 or more. We added a transfer in Aiden Sharp, who was a 20-game starter at the junior college level. No center, nose guard. I think that's the big thing. We will rely on a physical rushing attack, but you got to think it does start up front and with that backfield. But our receiving core, you bring Micah Smalls back, 1,000-yard receiver last year, record breaker, all conference guy. DeKendrick Bender spent a majority of the season injured, was a 4-game starter, but Cole Williams, there's a lot of guys, Matt Witten, Seth Johnson that played some in limited roles, in and out of the lineup, injuries. I know it was a tough year from that standpoint around here last year, but all those guys are really exciting. We were allowed to, not allowed, but I guess because of one-time transfer, but we were able to bring in a couple grad transfers. Ian Beek from Houston Baptist. He can roll, he can fly. Cam Perry from Incarnate Word. Same thing. That guy, when I was at Northwestern State, Cam is a true freshman, caught 11 balls against us in the game we played. I'd have recruited him out of high school. So, I think we've been able to bring some guys in. Tight end wise, Kendall Reed, Garrett McWhorter, it's time to step up, grow up for them to get a lot of reps. And of course, everybody wants to talk about the quarterback position. O.B. Jones, I would say, came out of spring ball number 1. He was the backup quarterback here the last few years. It'll be good competition. He and Jake Smith both did a good job throughout spring, but we were also able to bring in a transfer from Northwestern State that played in our system last year, played in my system, Judd Barton from Alexandria, Louisiana. So North Louisiana guy. I think he will be right in the thick of it, right in the meat of it. So on that side of the ball, I'm just looking forward to great competition at every spot. We got to build our depth. We got to grow some young linemen up. We got to stay healthy, all those types of things. But I really like what's at the top end of the depth chart across the board. Defensively, again, 4 down, even front, we're going to get after it. We're going to fly around, but Coach Reed's very multiple. Will Reed was my DC for 11 years at Trinity Valley, assistant head coach. Very multiple. They can go 4 down, 3 down. They can jump into 50 fronts, double eagle. So he can give you a little bit of everything, depending on what he thinks, he needs to stop you on the other side of the ball. But our defensive line, I think, is very solid. I think our defensive end play again, extremely good. You got Garrett, who's a strong end who could play the three, J.D. Abrams, Prince Udenze at the rush. Those are our three seniors on the whole deep. We only have three on the defensive side of the ball, and those are them, But Dawson Scott had a tremendous spring. I know he's just a sophomore, but also at the rush end. Inside, we got Elvin Calhoun. I mean, he's a big 290-pound run stuffer. We were able to sign a couple of freshmen to bring in big wide bodies. It's a little bit different philosophy, defensive line, than they've been around here in the past. I like big wide bodies. I like guys who can push the pocket and move the line of scrimmage, get in their backfield. Of course, linebacker wise, they returned we returned from last season, three guys that started ball games, and Rayvon Ingram and Gavin Rowe. Devarian Foster, we were able to bring in Jacob Berry, all-conference, all-American junior college guy that played for Coach Reed, knows the system, and he's flying around because he knows it, pulling the trigger. Secondary-wise, we got to build some depth there as well. As far as the top end, it's kind of like offensive line, but behind it, we got to grow some guys up, no question. But Saul Williams transferred in here at free safety, Chris Wade, Jalen Davis, Melvin Smith, two returning corners. So we're just younger. That's it. I mean, we've got, I think, 8 seniors on the whole team, and that's throwing in an all-conference, all-American caliber kicker in Austin Wilkerson. But so I like the way things set up for the next few years. We get a chance to really build along with the new staff and building a program. We've got a lot of youth that's going to build with it, but they're talented, but there's a lot that comes with winning ball games. You got to learn how to win. And that's what fall camp's all about.
Garrett, I want to address this to you. And Coach said you're a dude. So I really like that. I'm going to find a way to get that into a call this year too. So I think that would be incredibly cool. But talk about being back for another season, getting to play with the Mule Riders one more time then, and address what Coach said. I mean, it's an opportunity to physically relocate people and take another grown man where he doesn't want to be. Talk about your job.
Yes, sir. Last year at the end of the season, I had the big question of whether or not I was going to come back and play another season or if I was going to start working for the rest of my life. And it's a pretty easy answer. You can work for the rest of your life, can't play football. So when you play football at the university like Southern Arkansas, it makes it really easy to want to stay home. When we talk about the university feeling like home, that's really what happens. Whenever you come in as a freshman, SAU begins to feel like home. But I love the coaching staff. I love the guys that I'm around. That's the biggest thing, the relationships that I've made, with all my teammates. Really excited for this season. And, one thing that Coach Langley, stresses on the D-line is that we're going to be blue-collar guys. Some of us aren't the most talented, but we're going to show up and we're going to go to work every single day. And, we're trying to be the best, most physical defensive line in the conference, in the nation, year in and year out, and that's our agenda, and that's the that's the standard that we want to set for the defensive line and for the defense as a whole here at SAU, and that's what we plan on doing this season.
Jariq, you did a solid job last season, and you got attention in the conference. I mean, there was no question they knew who you are. They knew the numbers that you put up, nearly 1,500 yards rushing. Talk about following a season like that, and what's the encore look like this year?
I feel like there's more team stat, O-line play a part, the receivers help block at the second level, but it ain't about the yards. It's about doing whatever we need to win. So I can play more than one position. I can go from receiver to the slot, outside, inside, and I can play anywhere. And the coaches do a good job of being creative to let me do more.
Eric?
To Jariq and Garrett, just what was the first impression you had when you met Coach the first time he was hired? Start with Jariq, if you don't mind.
I missed your question. That went out.
Yeah, sure. Just your first impressions of Coach Smiley when he was hired, and what did you feel like when he was named your new coach?
When he was hired, I was already at home. I had a surgery, so I didn't get to see him until about January. But he was like his last name was Smiling. He was excited to be here, and I was excited to have him here as myself.
I said, same to you, Garrett. The first time you got to meet Coach Smiley in person, what were your impressions?
Oh, man, I'd say, Coach Smiley carries around a great attitude. He's always just really pumped up, really fired up. I'd say that towards the end of December, whenever he first got hired on, he's really excited, getting to meet him, and all about first impression whenever, new head coach comes in. What really fired me up, and I think what really got the team to start buying in, was whenever we got to work in the spring. Whenever we hit the field early mornings, whenever we hit the weight room, it's been hard work, and Coach Smiley's been there with us, been motivating, and really enabled the team to buy into his process, and has everybody really excited for this season.
Well, thank you guys. Here we are pressed up against our 15-minute allotment here. If there's any final questions we have from the group, we'll let them ask here. If not, we'll dismiss Coach Smiley and our two athletes for joining us here. So final call for questions from anybody here on the call. Hearing none, we wish you, Coach Smiley, good luck here in your first season, and we will talk to you on down the road. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks also you to Garrett and Jariq.
Thanks again, guys. We appreciate it.
Coming up at 11:20, we have Arkansas Monticello.